Hi, welcome to Basic Electrical Engineering. Today we will discuss about the types of the DC generator. So let's start. So DC generator is basically converts the mechanical power into DC electrical power that we have already discussed in a previous lecture during the operating principle, where the magnetic field is developed in the stator poles and in the rotor when it is rotating. Then the conductors in the rotor will be cut by the magnetic field. Then according to the Faraday law of electromagnetic induction, that is E is equal to minus N d phi by dt, the EMF will be induced in the conductor. So the magnetic flux in a DC machine is basically produced by the field coils when the current flows through it. And this phenomena is known as the excitation. So here in this figure, if you see, these are the poles and these are the field windings. So when the power is supplied to the field winding, then the magnetic fields will be produced. And depending upon the direction of the current, the poles will be in alternate order. That means first it is the north pole, then the second will be the south pole, then again north pole and again the south pole and so on. The poles of the machine is always in even numbers. It may be 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. So the field, the magnetic fields or the magnetic poles will be always in alternate order. So DC generator is basically classified according to the methods of their field excitation. That means how the magnetic field is produced, how the current is flowing through the field winding, what is the supply for the current that is flowing through the field winding. Depending upon this, the DC generators are classified in different ways. So let's see. So depending upon the type of excitation, the DC generator is mainly classified as three parts. First is called the permanent magnet, then the separately excited, and then the self-excited DC generator. As the name indicates, in case of permanent magnet, two permanent magnets are generally used to develop the magnetic field. So here no electromagnets are used. In case of separately excited generator, the external separate voltage source is used to give the power supply to the field windings to produce the magnetic field. And in case of self-excited DC generator, the current flowing through the field winding that is supplied by the generator itself. That means the EMF which is generated in the armature winding. From this induced EMF, the power will be supplied to the field winding. That's it is called as a self-excited DC generator. The self-excited DC generator can further be classified as series, shunt, and compound. As the power supplied to the field winding is from the armature windings, then definitely the field windings and the armature windings will be connected together. So they may be connected either in series or in parallel. So shunt means the parallel connection, series means both should be connected in series. And here in case of compound, the magnetic field will be of two parts, where one part will be connected in series with the armature winding and the other part will be connected in parallel with the rest of the connections. That's it is considered as a compound. The compound generator is again classified as cumulative compound and differential compound. We have already discussed that there will be two field windings in case of compound generator. One will be in series, another will be in parallel. So when the net magnetic field is the summation of the magnetic field produced by the individual coils, it is considered as a cumulative compound. And when the one magnetic field opposes the other magnetic field, it is considered as a differential compound. And according to the connections, whether the series connection will be first or the parallel connection will be first, depending upon this, the compound generator is again classified as a long shunt compound generator and short shunt compound generator. So The long shunt can be either cumulative or differential. Similarly, the short shunt is also either maybe cumulative or differential. So this is the total classification of the DC generator according to the magnetic field or excitation. So let's discuss each and every type one by one. So first is the permanent magnet DC generator. In this type of DC generator, there is no field winding placed around the poles. When the permanent magnets are used for establishing the flux in the magnetic circuit, then the generator is known as a permanent magnet generator. Here in the figure, we can see that a permanent magnet is used here. One is the north pole, another is the south pole. So the magnetic field that will be produced, it will be always constant. And within this magnetic field, when the rotor will rotate, then according to the Faraday law of electromagnetic induction, the EMF will be induced. The field produced by the poles of these machines remain constant as it is not the electromagnet, so there is no uh, chance of increasing or decreasing the magnetic field. Therefore, it is almost considered as a constant. Although these machines are very compact but are used only in small sizes like dynamo in motorcycles, etc. Because here the strength of the magnetic field is not very high, therefore the big machines or high rated machines cannot be developed using the permanent magnet. The the main disadvantage of this machine is that the flux produced by the magnet deteriorates with the time, which changes the characteristics of the machine. That means the strength of the permanent magnet gradually decreases over a period of time. Therefore, the behavior of the machine or the characteristics of the machine is also deteriorated. That's why the application of the permanent magnet is very limited. Next is separately excited DC generator. A DC generator whose field winding is energized by a separate or external DC source, it is called as a separately excited DC generator. So here it is the electrical circuit diagram of a separately excited DC generator. This is the armature winding or the rotor winding. These are the brushes. One is the positive terminal, another is the negative terminal. Then this armature is connected across the load. So when the EMF is induced in the armature, it will give the power supply to the load. So the electrical energy will be consumed by the load. Here, this is represented as a field winding. That means the stator field winding. When the current is supplied to the stator field winding, then the magnetomotive force will be developed. And we have already discussed that the EMF which is produced in the machine, it is represented as generated EMF as Z phi P N upon 60A. That we have discussed in the operating principle and the EMF equation of the DC generator. So here Z is the number of conductors in the armature, phi is the flux produced per pole in the field winding, P is the number of pole in the stator, N is the speed of the rotor, and A is the number of parallel paths. That we have already discussed. A is equal to P for lap connection and A is equal to 2 for wave connection. Now here the field winding or the stator field winding is connected to some external DC supply voltage. Therefore, the current which is flowing through the field winding can be controlled by changing the supply voltage. So the field winding current or the flux which is produced here, the flux which is produced, it will be proportional to the field current. Field current means the current which is flowing through the field winding. This is IF. So the amount of flux produced will depend upon the field current, and depending upon the flux, the generated EMF will be produced. Here the generated EMF is represented by EG. RA is considered as the resistance of the armature winding. IA is the current flowing from the armature and IL is the load current. So here the current which is flowing from the armature, the same current will flow to the load. So here the armature current and the load currents are same. And here V is the voltage across the load. So here flux produced by the pole depends upon the field current with the unsaturated region of the magnetic material of the pole. That is, flux is directly proportional to the field current that we have already discussed here. But in the saturated region, the flux remains constant. So when the flux remains constant, then if the field current is increased, then also there will be no change in flux. So basically, here we have to remember some relations in voltage current. So first of all, as we have seen that the current which is flowing from the armature, the same current will flow to the load. So the first relation is here the armature current is equal to the load current. The flux which is produced, it is directly proportional to the field current. That means it is directly proportional to the external voltage source, where V is the voltage source that is applied across the field windings. It is the input voltage. Now here V is the voltage across the load. So the voltage across the load should be equal to the generated EMF, because when the magnetic field is produced, the flux is produced, and the rotor is rotating within the magnetic field, then according to the generated EMF formula, the EMF will be produced in the armature, and when the EMF is induced in the armature windings, then if the load is connected across the armature, then the current is supplied to the load. But there are some resistances in the armature windings as well as some other losses also. So from the generated EMF, if we subtract the losses, then we will get the voltage across the load. So here the voltage across the load will be the generated EMF minus losses in the armature winding, because RA is the resistance of the armature winding or the rotor winding. So when the current is flowing through through the windings of the armature, then there will be a voltage drop in the armature winding. So if we subtract this voltage drop from the generated EMF, then that will be the voltage across the load. The power which is developed in the armature, it is considered as a generated power, PG. It is basically the product of generated EMF into armature current. EG is the EMF generated in the armature. IA is the current flowing through the armature windings. So the product of these two values will give us the power which is developed in the armature. Whereas the output power, PL, or we can say the output power, it will be equal to voltage into the load current. Voltage into the load current, where V is the voltage across the load and IL is the current. But here IA and IL is same. So this is the concept of the separately excited DC generator. The advantage of this type of generator is that here the field windings are excited by the external voltage source, so the current can be controlled. Therefore, the flux can also be controlled. This is not possible for self-excited generator or any other type of machine. But the disadvantage is also here. We have to use some extra voltage source, extra DC voltage source. So the cost of the machine will be increased. Next, the series DC generator. In series generator, the field coils are connected in series with the armature winding. So before we discuss about the series generators, we have already seen that in the previous slide that uh, after self-excited DC generator, the next part is called the self-excited DC generator. It is permanent magnet, then separately excited, then self-excited. So in case of self-excited that we have already discussed, here the uh, current that is flowing through the field winding, it will be supplied by the EMF which is induced in the armature. That means no extra voltage source required to give the power supply to the field winding to produce the magnetic field. So the field winding and the armature windings should be connected to each other. They are connected in series, they may connected in parallel, and they may connected both series and parallel. So the first case is when the field windings and the armature windings are connected in series. So here in this figure we can see that this is considered as the armature, or the armature winding is also represented by this circle. This is the brush. There is two brushes shown here, positive terminal and the negative terminal, and here it is the field winding. So field winding and the armature windings are connected in series here, and then the load is connected across this combination. So if we consider here, each and every part are connected in series. The armature or the rotor winding, the stator winding or the field winding, as well as the load, all are connected in series. So it makes one complete closed loop. The resistance of the armature winding is represented as Ra. Similarly, the resistance of the field winding is represented here is Rse, that is series field winding. The EMF which is induced in the armature is represented by Eg, and Ia is the current flowing from the armature. This is represented as the armature current. And as field winding and the armature windings are connected in series, so the same current will flow through the field windings also. The field winding current here can be represented as ISE, and here the same current will flow through the load also. So the series field winding carries the armature current as well as the load current. That here we can see that the current which is flowing from the armature, the entire current will flow through the field winding as well as to the load. The series field winding consists of few turns of thick wire of larger cross-sectional area and having low resistance, usually of the order of less than 1 ohm, because here the armature current has a very large value. As we have seen that the total armature current or the load current is flowing through the field winding. Therefore, the resistance of the field winding should be as low as possible. Otherwise, there may be I2R loss in the field windings, and there will be a voltage drop also, that is I into RAC drop. So to remove this loss or this voltage drop, the resistance should be as low as possible in case of series field winding. So as we can see here, the armature current is equal to the series field current, and it is equal to the load current also. As all are connected in series, therefore only one current will flow throughout the circuit. And the voltage across the load here, V will be equal to the generated EMF minus losses in the armature winding, that is Ia into Ra, as well as losses in the series field winding resistance, that means ISC into RAC. But here Ia and IAC is same, so it can be also written as generated EMF minus Ia into Ra plus RAC, because this is the total resistance as two are connected in series. The power developed in the armature, that is the generated power, is again Eg into Ia, that is generated EMF into armature current, and whereas the output power or the power in the load side is V into IL. So this is the relations of the current, voltage, and power in case of DC series generator. Sometimes during numerical questions, we have to identify the type of the machine by watching the series field winding resistance. So remember where the series field winding resistance should be very low. It is always in the order of 1 ohms, 2 ohms, and so on. So next is the shunt generator. In shunt generator, the field winding is connected across the armature winding, forming a parallel or shunt circuit. The shunt means the parallel. So here in this circuit, the armature winding and the field windings are connected parallel, and the load is also connected across this. So here each and every part are connected parallel to each other. That is the armature winding, field winding, and load. All are connected in parallel. The resistance of the field winding is represented here RSH. That is the shunt field winding resistance. Where RA is the resistance of the armature winding. The current which is flowing from the armature, because it is the generator. So first of all, the EMF will be produced in the armature. Then the current will start to flow from the armature winding, and then this current will be divided into two parts. Here one part will flow through the field winding and the other part will flow through the load. So here the full terminal voltage is applied across the load. As you can see that the load, armature, and field all are connected in parallel. Therefore, the voltage across the load will also be applicable across the field winding. A very small field current ISH should flow through it because this winding has a very high number of turns of fine wire having very high resistance. It is in the order of 100 ohms. So remember one thing, as the voltage across the field winding is equal to the load terminal voltage. Therefore, the current which is flowing to the field winding, this current can be written as V upon RSH. So the value of resistance RSH should be very high so that the ISH should be low, because here the part of the armature current is flowing to the field winding and part is flowing to the load. So if ISH is more, then the value of IL will be less. Therefore, to flow the more current to the load, the value of ISH should be low. And to make the ISH low, the value of RSH should be very high, and it is in the order of 100 ohms. So here the relations can be represented as the armature current is the sum of field current and the load current, where the field current, that means the shunt field current ISH, is equal to V upon RSH, where V is the voltage across the load. So you can easily calculate the value of ISH also here. The voltage across the load can be represented as generated EMF minus losses in the armature winding. Because the load is connected across the armature winding, so the voltage across the load will be Eg minus Ia into Ra. The power developed in the armature is again same, that is generated EMF into armature current, and similarly the output power is voltage into load current. So these are the relations of the current, voltage, and power in case of shunt generator. Next, the compound generator. Basically, in case of compound generator, there are two types of field windings. They are basically named as the shunt field winding and the series field winding. The shunt field winding is connected in parallel with the armature and the series field winding is connected in series with the combination. The series winding will carry a large armature current or IL. Therefore, it should made of wire of large cross-section area and very few turns only. Therefore, the resistance of the series field winding should be very small. That is also we have seen in case of series generator. The same concept is also used here. Whereas the shunt winding is made up of wire of small cross-section area and high resistance. Since the resistance of the shunt field winding is very high, then the current flowing through it should be very small as compared to the generator armature current. So, a compound generator is basically the combination of the features of the shunt as well as the series machine. So here the shunt and the series generator combined is considered as a compound generator. Remember here there are two field windings. One should be connected in series, another should be connected in parallel. And this is because the features of the series generator as well as the shunt generator can be combined in a single machine. That's why this concept comes. That is the compound generator. The compound generator, the shunt winding can be connected in two ways. The first of all, across the armature winding only. Then it is considered as a short shunt. That means here the shunt field winding should be connected across the armature and the series field winding will be connected in series with this combination. So this is considered as a short shunt compound generator. Whereas if the shunt winding is connected across both the armature winding and the series winding, then it is considered as a long shunt compound generator. So here the series winding will be connected with the armature first, with the armature winding first, and then the shunt winding will be connected across this combination. This concept is considered as a long shunt compound generator. So let's see one by one. The short shunt compound generator. So this is the concept of the short shunt compound generator. So here the shunt field winding and the armature winding are connected parallel to each other, and then the series field winding is connected in series with this combination. So here the current flowing to the load is equal to the series field winding current, and the current flowing to the shunt field winding, that is ISH, it can be written as V plus ISE into RSE upon RSH, or it can be also written as EG minus IARA upon RSH. Here the armature current is IA, this is the armature current, and this current divides into two parts. So it is equal to the shunt field winding current plus series field winding current, and it can be further written as shunt field winding current plus load current, because ISC is equal to IL here. And the terminal voltage, that is the voltage across the load will be equal to generated EMF minus drop in the armature winding, that is IA into RA, and then drop in the series field winding, that is ISE into RSE. So this is the voltage across the load, generated EMF minus voltage drop across the armature winding minus voltage drop across the series field winding. The power developed in the generator, in the rotor, that is generated power, it is always the product of generated EMF and the armature current, like the previous cases. And similarly, the output power is equal to voltage into load current. So these are the formula, these are the relations for a short shunt compound generator. The basic concept is here the field winding will be connected, one field winding will be connected across the armature winding first, and then the second field winding will be connected in series with the combination. On the other hand, for long shunt compound generator, here the concept is the series field winding and the armature is connected in series first, and then the second field winding is connected across this combination. So you can see here the armature winding and the field winding, series field winding is connected in series first, and the shunt field winding is connected across this combination. This is considered as a long shunt compound generator. So in case of long shunt compound generator, the current flowing to the shunt field winding, that is ISH, it is the voltage upon the shunt field winding resistance, because here the voltage across the load will be also voltage across the shunt field winding. Here the armature current and the series field winding current will be same, because the current which is flowing from the armature, the same current will flow to the series field winding, and then it will divide into two parts. So one part is the shunt field winding current and the other part is the load current. The terminal voltage, that is the voltage across the load, here will be equal to generated EMF minus the voltage of across the armature winding resistance plus voltage of across the series field winding resistance. And as the same current is flowing in this circuit, that means to the armature winding as well as to the series field winding, so it can be written as Eg minus Ia into Ra plus Rse, because their armature and the series field winding are connected in series. So this is the total resistance, and then this is the voltage drop. So the voltage across the load will be this one. The power developed is again Eg into Ia, that is generated EMF into armature current, and the output power or the load power will be equal to V into Ia. So these are the concepts of different type of machines, where the compound generator is further classified as here we have to decide the relative direction of the current through both the windings of a particular field pole. As we have seen that here there are two field windings. One is the series field winding and another is the shunt field winding. So the operating the operation of the compound generator will basically depends upon two factors. The first one is the relative direction of the current through both the windings of a particular field pole. And the second one is the magnetic effect which this current can produce. So there are two options. So this is one particular pole and these are the two fields, that is the series field and the shunt field. In first case, we can see that the direction of the current is same for both the field windings. Both are entering in the same way. So this is here both the currents are in the same direction. Let's say this is figure number A or the figure number 1 and this is figure number 2. Here it is the field winding, let's say A, and this is field winding, let's say B. The series field winding is considered as A and the shunt field winding is considered as B. Again it is A and B. In the second case, we can see that the direction of the current in both the field windings are opposite. Here the current is from left to right, that is it is entering in this way, and here the current is leaving, that means from right to left. So in case of compound generator, there are two possibilities of the current flowing to the field winding, either like case 1, or like case 2. So here the winding A is the series winding through which the load current passes. Basically, we have seen that the current flowing through the field winding is the maximum amount of current is flowing through the field winding, series field winding, and where the winding B is the normal shunt winding. And remember one thing, the series field winding is the responsible for the main flux production, where the shunt field winding is basically assist the series field winding flux. If the load current is in the direction as in the first figure, that is like in this figure, the magnetizing force of the series winding will add the shunt field winding, and it will increase the strength of the magnetic field. Like first figure, when both the current in both the field winding is in the same way, then the net magnetic field produced will be the summation of the magnetic field produced by the individual field windings. Whereas if the current in the shunt winding is not normally strong enough to saturate the core, so it is basically just to assist the series field winding. Now, if the load current through the series winding is in the direction opposite as shown in the second figure, then the effect will be weaken the magnetic field. As we can see in the second diagram, where the current in two field windings are opposite to each other. So basically the magnetic field produced in the shunt field, it will basically oppose the series field. Therefore, the net magnetic field will be less. When the series winding is connected to add the shunt winding, then this type of generator is considered as a cumulative compound generator. So this is the concept of the cumulative compound generator, where the net magnetic field is the summation of the individual magnetic field produced by the individual field winding. On the other hand, if the series winding is connected to oppose the magnetic field, it is called as a differential compound generator, just like the second figure. Here, the direction of the current in both the windings are opposite to each other. Therefore, the magnetic field which is produced in the series field, it will be opposed by the magnetic field produced in the shunt field. Therefore, the net magnetic field will be lesser than any of the magnetic field produced here or the magnetic field produced in the series winding. This type of generator is considered as a differential compound generator. So for cumulative compound generators, the net magnetic field will be the summation of the two magnetic fields produced by two coils, where for differential compound generators, the net magnetic field will be the difference between two magnetic fields produced by two different coils. So let's see some numerical questions on the DC generator. So here it is the first question. A 20 kilowatt 200 volt shunt generator has the armature resistance of 0.05 ohm and a shunt field resistance of 200 ohms. So calculate the power developed in the armature when it delivers the rated output. So let's see the solution. First of all, we'll draw the circuit diagram for the shunt generator. So let's say this is the armature. Field winding is connected across it and the load is connected here. So this is the armature winding resistance. It is the generated EMF. It is shunt field winding resistance. This is armature winding resistance. It is generated EMF. Here it is the load current, armature current, field winding current, and voltage across the load. So remember one thing in case of DC generator numerical question, when the power and voltage are given, it will be always considered as the output value. Therefore, here the output power is given as 20 kilowatt, or it can be considered as 20,000 watt. Similarly, the voltage across the load is 200 volt. We know that the power output power is equal to voltage across the load into the load current. So we can find the value of IL as output power upon voltage across the load. So it is 20,000 upon 200, that means 100 ampere. So this is the current flowing to the load. Now the value of RSH here is 200. It is given in the question. And the voltage across the shunt field winding resistance will be same as that of the voltage across the load because they are connected in parallel. So we can find the value of ISH as VL upon RSH. So it will be 200 upon 200 means 1 ampere. Now in case of shunt generator, the total armature current is the summation of the load current and the shunt field winding current. Therefore, it will be 100 plus 1, that is 101 ampere. This is the total armature current. And the generated EMF can be calculated in terms of the voltage across the load. So here it will be the voltage across the load plus the drop in the armature winding. Remember, we have calculated the voltage across the load as Ag minus IaRa that we have discussed earlier. Therefore, Eg will be equal to VL plus Ia into Ra. So here VL is 200. Armature current we have calculated 101 ampere. Our armature winding resistance is given, that is 0.05. Therefore, after calculation, the value of generated EMF will be 205.05 volt. This is the generated EMF. So finally, the power developed in the armature is the product of Ag into Ia, that is 205.05 into 101. So finally, the power developed in the armature will be equal to 20710 watt, or we can write 20.71 kilowatt. So this is the final answer. Next question. A 4-pole DC shunt generator with wave connected armature has the field and armature resistance of 80 ohms and 0.1 ohms respectively. It supplies the power to 50 bulbs rated 100 volt 60 watt each. So calculate the total armature current and the generated EMF by allowing a contact brush drop of 1 volt per brush. So it is a new concept. Let's see the solution. So again, it is a shunt generator. So first of all, draw the figure. It is armature winding resistance, generated EMF, shunt field winding resistance. It is armature resistance. It is the generated EMF. It is connected across the load. Voltage across the load is here VL. Current here is IL. It is the armature current and it is the shunt field winding current. Now here the power is 50 number of bulbs and rating of the each bulb is 100 volt 60 watt. Therefore, the total output power will be equal to 60 into 50, that is 3000 watts. This is the total output power because there are 50 number of bulbs and the power rating of each bulb is 60 watt. As the bulbs are connected in parallel and the rating of individual bulb is 100 volt, therefore the voltage across the load will be also equal to 100 volt. Therefore, we can find the load current like previous question. It will be PL upon VL. So 3000 by 100, it will be 30 ampere. Similarly, the shunt field current ISH will be equal to VL upon RSH, where VL is 100 and RSH here is 80. So it will be 1.25 ampere. Therefore, the armature current will be the sum of these two currents, IL plus ISH, that is 30 plus 1.25. So the armature current is here 31.25 ampere. So this is the first part of the question, the total armature current. So this is the total armature current of the generator. Now the voltage, generated voltage EG, it will be equal to voltage across the load plus the losses. The losses means the voltage drop across the armature winding. It is represented as RA into RA plus. In this question, it is considered as there is a brush contact drop of 1 volt per brush. Remember one thing, we have seen that there is a commutator and on the commutator, two brushes are connected. So during rotation, there may be a contact drop in the brush which is connected with the commutator. Here it is considered as a brush contact drop is 1 volt per brush. So as there is two brushes because it is the wave connected armature, so there will be two brushes and the voltage of in each brush is 1 volt. So the total brush contact drop is considered as 2 into 1. So VL is 100, armature current is 31.25, armature winding resistance given as 0.1 and brush contact drop is 2 volt. So finally the generated EMF will be 105.125 volts. So this is the generated EMF of the generator. So this is the second part of the question. It is the generated EMF of the machine. Third question. A 4-pole long shunt lap connected DC generator supply 25 kilowatt at a terminal voltage of 500 volt. The armature resistance is 0.03 ohm, series field winding resistance is 0.04 ohm, and shunt field winding resistance is 200 ohm. The brush drop is taken as 1 volt, so determine the EMF generated. So let's see the solution. Here, first of all, we'll draw the circuit diagram. As it is a long shunt compound generator, that means the armature and the series field winding connected first, and then the shunt field winding is connected across this combination. And now the load is connected. So this is the figure of the long shunt compound generator. It is the armature winding resistance, generated EMF. It is the series field winding resistance. This is the shunt field winding resistance. It is the load. So voltage across the load is VL. Current here is IL. It is armature current as well as series field current, and this is shunt field current, ISH. So let's see the solution. The output power here is 25 kilowatt or 25,000 watt, and the voltage across the load is 500 volt. That is the terminal voltage. So IL can be calculated as output power upon voltage across the load. So it is 25,000 by 500, and it will be equal to 50 ampere. Next is ISH. As in case of long shunt compound generator, the voltage across the shunt field winding is same as the load terminal voltage. So ISH here will be VL upon RSH. So VL is 500 and RSH is here 200. It is given in the question. So the shunt field current will be 2.5 ampere. Therefore, the armature current will be the sum of load current and the shunt field current. It will be 50 plus 2.5, and that is 52.5 ampere. This is the total armature current. So the generated EMF will be calculated as EG. That will be equal to the voltage across the load plus voltage drop in the armature winding resistance plus voltage drop in the series field winding resistance plus brush contact drop. So here it is voltage across the load is 200. Sorry, it is 500 plus IA, that is the armature current we have calculated, that is 52.5. Armature winding resistance here is 0.03. It is 0.03, and series field winding resistance is 0.04. It is 0.04. As these two are connected in series, so we can add these two resistances. And the brush contact drop is 1 volt. Remember here it is given as the total brush contact drop. It is not given as the brush contact drop per brush. So we'll take this drop as the total drop. So plus 1. So after solving these values, we will get 504.675 volts. So this is the generated EMF of the machine. So that is the answer. That's all. Thank you.